Hey up everybody. Now if you're establishing, this is part 2 of Cocaine Bear. Now hopefully you might have seen part 1, but we'll do a previous. As you may gather that I'm from Yorkshire, right? Now if you're not aware of Yorkshire, it's a little patch of ground called England. It's attached to that, and that is somewhere on the world near the North Sea. Well, technically the North Sea sort of surrounds it a bit, well, most of it, especially near bloody Yorkshire anyhow. But yeah, Yorkshire's might be like a great big massive state, like something like Texas, but a smaller version if you thought of England. Yeah, it's one of them, might be the biggest counties, right? You know, and counties, you know, it's it might be one great big area. But unfortunately, round in 1972, they decided around, you know, in 1974, they did in lawful that actually sliced Yorkshire in 4 sections, right? And what we mean by 4 sections, we mean North Yorkshire, South Yorkshire, West Yorkshire, and Humberside. Alright, East Yorkshire, but you know, upset folk by saying that, alright, because I won't like it. Now, we're trying to explain a lot of Yorkshire stuff because we're talking about them vicious animals, and obviously Yorkshire has its own, well, a lot of people may say that it's mythical, but you know, obviously we are talking about a cocaine bear, but yeah, it's a Yorkshireman trying to explain something about an American movie. But yes, I was left long-winded trying to explain a lot of this. Now, if you haven't got your Yorkshire translator, you may find this a bit funny, because you may think our voices and our language and all that lot isn't technically properly English or what, it just sounds a bit googly-goo. But we've been invaded by quite a lot of, other folk from other countries, like, you know, the Romans and bleeding Vikings, one at last lot, what, you know, and we've picked quite a few stupid sayings from all the mixture of these different folk, and yeah, you may not actually technically understand what I'm saying. So our symbol is obviously, you know, that white rose, you might notice, and heard all the history about the Battle of War of the Roses. And obviously Yorkshire might have lost, but you know, we've got the white rose, and yeah, we'll be more well known for, you know, having that. Now, you can get a flag and fly that, but you know, council will come around and get you, and do stuff if you hang that. And we are very popular, or having a very popular day called the Yorkshire Day, right? But obviously, you want me to stop bloody whittering on about bloody Yorkshire, because if you've been reading this interesting information, that Yorkshire is very well known for them wild, crazy, mythical beasts. Well, technically, if you don't believe it, well, yeah, but we're Yorkshire folk, and they say that we're quite superstitious and a bit paranoid and all that lot. But I would like to explain that obviously we're going through true stories. Now, you all know about the story about the bar guest, well known in Yorkshire. Great big bloody black dog, right? I mean, yeah, fair enough, right? We don't get bears. Bears might be, you know, vicious and all that lot, but, you know, you don't want to bloody mess with a bar guest or something. Well known as a Yorkshire dog. Yeah, the terrifying Yorkshire Terrier. Now, based on a true story, we think, because one thing I will say, that's what I'm on about American Werewolf, because that's actually real, right? You know, I think, because I'm Yorkshire, that up at Moors, like, I think somebody abandoned one of their Yorkshire Terriers and you let them run around it wild, they're eating sheep and all that lot. We all know how bloody vicious a sheep are and all that lot. Obviously, you know, your Yorkshire Terrier, it grows bigger, you know, so I think that's where they might have got that idea for the American Werewolf. Never mind your bleeding bears, yes, it's moving on about bears, and like I explained about the bloody movie, that there was rangers in it as well, so yeah, not Texas Walker Ranger, I mean park rangers, and you might think there's something like Matrix bear in the movie. Now, we all know that, yeah, if you left a bear in the wild of the Yorkshire, it might adapt, but yeah, come on, Matrix. Now, I do mention briefly about beavers in this movie as well, and, well, if you're not too sure what movie I've been talking about, this American Werewolf malarkey, well, here's something for you to know about it.
Has been. No, man. The guy's a forgotten genius. In the 80s he came out with box office gold, like Trading Places, Coming to America, Animal House, and one of my personal favourites, The Blues Brothers. Oh! Now though, he's directing TV shows and pretty bad sequels. However, this is the 21st anniversary of one of his finest hours, American Werewolf in London. We caught up with him to chew the fat. What? Oh, hi mate, you're looking good. John Landis was only 18 when he wrote the script for An American Werewolf in London, but had to wait until 1981 to make it. At a time when public worries about sex and violence in movies were at an all-time high, he managed to make a film that was revolutionary. Following the fortunes of a pair of American backpackers who run into something nasty on a Yorkshire moor, it's brutal, violent, gory, but most of all, howlingly funny.
It's a full moon. Beware the moon. And stick to the road. Oops.
It was the first contemporary horror picture that was quite straight ahead in dealing with it, meaning that the brutality is presented, the gore and stuff is very realistic. And I think that took people aback. The fact that it was very funny made it all the more horrific, actually. That was my plan.
Where are we going? I don't know. I'll tell you when we get there. Okay, because... You really scared me. You couldn't have helped me up or what?
John Landis had a reputation of doing comedy, so people went there expecting something like, you know, an Animal House idea or Blues Brothers, you know, where he was going to be, you know, he was king of comedy at that time.
But the picture is meant definitely to be like a traditional monster movie. I mean, like it's based on the Wolfman, the Kurt Seelmark, you know, film. And, you know, the scene where they go into the pub, that's like classic Hollywood back lot. All those Sherlock Holmes movies, you know, Rathbone and Nigel Bruce could be walking into that pub, you know.
Yes. Do you have any hot soup?
No.
Well, do you have any coffee then?
No.
Do you have any hot chocolate?
We've spirits and beers. If it's something hot you want, you can have tea.
Then you have tea?
No.
No.
But I can make some for you, if you like.
An American Werewolf in London was perhaps the first film to subvert horror as a genre, though its canine tongue was not as far in its cheek as Scream 15 years later. However, the film's legacy lies also in its special effects. Rick Baker was the first person to win the then new Best Makeup Design Oscar for the startling transformation of Norton into a wolf and Griffin Dunn's gradually decaying body.
It was a kind of lonely feeling, actually, to be dead, to be playing a dead guy and look at yourself so gruesome, and have people look at you on the set. These are, you know, seasoned filmmakers, just riveted, transfixed by how gruesome you look, and everybody making jokes and finding it just so hilarious. But in fact, it's very, very uncomfortable.
Do you mind? The man's a friend of mine.
I've made a lot of movies that have been very influential. And I'm not sure that's necessarily good, because when something's commercially successful, everyone immediately copies it. The one thing in the movie, we were one of the first films, I think second or third film to ever use a Steadicam. and I used it as the Wolf's POV in Tottenham Court Road station and stuff. And I remember at Daly's, Bob Painter, who was our DP, we're sitting at Technicolor London, and we looked at Daly's of this shot, and he turned to me and he said, "Well, there's an instant cliche," and he was completely right.
Despite his massive influence, John Landis has slipped unceremoniously from the director's A-list. This may be because he hasn't made a decent film since coming to America back in 1988. But with a new DVD edition of Werewolf, sure to attract a new generation of fans, Landis can rest safe in the knowledge that he is a living, dead legend.
So, you've been wondering, what the bloody hell have I been reading or I've been paying attention? You're on about John Landis, right? Yeah, fair enough. The guy is going to go down in history for creating horror and comedy mixed together. Nobody didn't get it, as you know, as you've been, if you're reading what you've been saying. But the thing is, we're out talking about other stuff. Now, what I'm getting at, because I'm Yorkshire, that they couldn't really film that type of stuff in real Yorkshire, not in Mullers and all that lot, because, you know, like I say, you know, there's all them mythical creatures or whatever, on sheep and all that lot. Now, they had to do it somewhere safe, like another country. Yeah, Wales, right? So that's what I'm trying to get at, because we know with Cocaine Bear, it's more or less filmed in, well, technically, you know, it's meant to be America, but some of it was filmed in Ireland and stuff, but a lot of it was done with CGI, and obviously a lot of creative stuff. But the point is, I'm from Yorkshire, and I had a weird experience, right, if you've been carry on reading all this stuff, right. Well, I was walking home, back of a place called Standard Fireworks. It's this great big place where they build fireworks, and they have these green huts like wide apart from each other, and maybe if one blows up, you know, not all the gunpowder goes, but it's a very big area. I'm walking, there's a public footpath at the back of it, and I'm walking there, and you couldn't hit no street lights or anything. It's actually walking back at Mullers, like, and I'm walking through, and you could just barely see because it was a full moon, and I'm walking, and you know the scene in American Werewolf where the bagpackers have walked off the path and you hear that growling. All I could hear was that noise of growling in front of me, and that scene came in my head. But lucky enough, I sort of looked and noticed there was a great big black figure in the moonlight, and it was just like a shape of a big black shabby dog. And you know what you'd be thinking, did I flee or fight? Obviously I bloody ran away, and I kept on running, but I was running still the same direction to go home, right? And this dark black figure was growling and snarling, and it was chasing me. Obviously it's behind the fence, this you can see this in like chicken wire fence. Anyhow, I must have got to the end of it, and then that's when I realised, you know, this animal was actually a dog because it started barking. But yeah, that image came in my head, and yeah, it does. Every time if I see American Werewolf, that does, I get reminded of that and that. So yeah, that's my scary experience, if you think, you know, because we're half funny folk from Yorkshire. But yeah, it captures the imagination, obviously, of, you know, black dogs and stuff. And obviously, if you're comparing a werewolf at Life and Float, compared, you know, because Life and Floats do get sort of confused with Yorkshire folk, because obviously, tell you need your Yorkshire translator, right? But I would like to get on that, you know, this movie, you know, wouldn't be made if it wasn't for John Landis starting from the humble beginning. And all that started off in 1981. The incident with Andrew Thornton, as I mentioned, was 1985. That's all 4 years apart. But even Cocaine Bear does have that 80s vibe. And that's what I'm trying to get verting back, because it gives you that 80s feel. Even they talk about small mini dinosaurs, what are lizards, and these other stuff, because a lot of you may know that, you know, Sherlock Holmes had the Hound of the Baskervilles and stuff. But yeah, Cocaine Bear, you know, directed by Elizabeth Banks, and you know, she didn't do what American Werewolf did with glove puppets or hand puppets, but you know, she's had experience. But yeah, CGI, as we all know. And yes, if it wasn't for John Landis working on Kelly's Heroes, you know, maybe horror movies will just be horror movies without comedy and all that lot. And knowing that Jenny Agutter is a very serious actress, and she was in the movie, still playing a very serious part. Like comparing it with Rachel Friend when she was in Neighbours, and she did all that good performance for this show and all that lot, was actually going to have us reverting to another serious actress in the 80s. Yes, Melissa Wilkes played a character called Jackie Wright in the little TV show Grange Hill. And we all know she was a famous girlfriend for Samo, as she always said. He was played by the famous actor Lee MacDonald, because he was the most popular character what stuck out for the war against drugs. Yes, they were trying not to promote young children to take drugs in the 80s. They had a classic song, you know, Just Say No. And if you want to do any 80s history about stuff like that, just go into the archives of Ronald Reagan, you know, taking on the war against the drug cartels and everyone, you know. It was a very big deal, and drugs are a very serious problem. And yeah, very popular in the 80s, but the problem still hasn't gone away. You know, it still happens, and it's a very serious subject. But yeah, to take like comedy out of it, well, yeah. But the reality of it was very hardcore, very serious stuff. I mean, that's all you had on the TV, was trying to warn you not to take drugs. This TV program for children telling us not to take drugs, and then a few years later you get like programs like Skins, and sort of gives you the misinterpretive of drugs, and maybe this film does as well. And yeah, because we all know that Elizabeth Banks is going to be creating Cocaine Bear 2. Maybe she's done real, you know, research. She must have, because, you know, she's maybe finding out about illegal Yorkshire pudding smuggling, because it is a really serious crime up in Yorkshire. That, I mean, you can't beat it really. It is highly addictive. Bit of Yorkshire pudding with a bit of mashed potato and gravy. Hey, back home. Oh yeah. I mean, sorry for, but hopefully she might get ideas and inspiration. Obviously she won't film it in Yorkshire, you know, we'll substitute it like this movie did, American Werewolf. You know, they used Wales, didn't they? But yeah, good idea. But while my point was getting at, because we Yorkshire, we cut something out.
It's following up a hit movie, because suddenly everybody's saying you're the new Spielberg, you're the new Kubrick. What are you going to follow it up with? The pressure's really on to prove you're not a one-trick pony. We saw earlier in the programme how Wes Anderson has done this very successfully, and now the spotlight shining on Sam Mendes, director of American Beauty, to find out what his next movie is going to be like, Road to Perdition, out here around about, I think, September. Though if you're in Brazil this Friday, you can't catch it there for some reason. If you're in the UK this Friday, though, you can go and see Hearts in Atlantis, which is the new movie from...
Oh, blinking it. Put wrong clip on. But obviously, you'd be thinking it's a hit in at Elizabeth, you know, with Steven Spielberg. But yeah, these directors doing all this type of filming in Wales and trying to incorporate it, we're leaving Yorkshire out, because Yorkshire folk, yeah, we all know it's bad up there. But yeah, the point is, because it's a Yorkshire thing, we did take a certain major bit out of part 1, and we're going to incorporate it in part 2, so you might be a bit confused, but it's to do with drugs and children and that, and that's our point.
So we do get a funny joke about the ranger talking about working on their beaver and that, but that was funny, I suppose. Now, we move on to the children, and we can go with the young lad, this word dad or whatever, because he hasn't made him any lunch, and he's eating all snacks and everything, and but obviously there's been toilet humour, maybe mentioning that there's a joke here where he's saying he's marking his territory, and she thinks he's having it. No,
don't shit out here.
Yeah, one of them in the forests, and but yeah, what it is the movie goes on to, because it's based in the 80s, and it's claiming that everyone does cocaine, and they find cocaine, the young girl, and she knows what it is, and the young lad says he takes it with this Guy Fawkes or something, and takes it after church and that.
After church? What does not do cocaine after church? I'm not
and
sure. It's usually more powdery.
Well, how to take it is to eat it. As we all know, with the true story about the real bear, that it consumed quite an amount and it died. So we got in the movie these two kids literally trying to eat it, and lucky enough they don't get affected by it, because obviously they spit it out. But we hear noises, and you can gather when a bag of cocaine's been ripped open, the cocaine bear is not far behind, or literally is behind, and they turn around, and typical style, the bear sneezes cocaine at them, and they run and flee.
Dad, hey Dee, do you think my dad has ever done cocaine? Your dad has definitely done cocaine.
It is a serious matter about drugs, so be warned. So we're going to continue with the rest of the review on the movie now.
So they approach the gazebo. Reba turns up on the scene. They was maybe looking after that dog. Yeah. So they have a big discussion about the dog.
You got the dog in the car?
And Bob, the detective, he's very attached now to that dog, even he didn't want it, but, okay. It pulls your heartstrings and you feel the emotion, because Sid is
I vote for not killing the dog today, but that's just me. I'm gonna kill the dog when I come down mountain.
Oh, it was in Goodfellas, wasn't he? Come on. So, so you're establishing that they're gonna track down this bag of cocaine, knowing that like Bob says, it's a predator.
Apex predator. High on cocaine, you're going towards it.
Well, yeah, they're in debt, and so obviously it's going to be a showdown where a man with a rifle and a guy with a gun, and maybe a few more sacrifice to the bear.
Oh no, please, don't do that.
But then we get to another scene, jumping again back to, that hiker. And, so Henry and Dee Dee's mum go into the cave as they've been given a flashlight from, Now, he admitted that, when they talk about kids, that he might have given him Colin, obviously way back in the beginning, we know that he didn't want to really have his son named Texas because it's a state of America, but on this bit, he's like, I think it's trying to be funny again. So, back to some reason. When they go in the cave, they discover bear cubs.
They look like polar bears.
Yeah, and Dee Dee's there. I'm thinking, a bear protects its young. Why would you hide in a cave where it's babies? And especially we've seen this bear mad on cocaine, killing people, like chasing them after ambulances and stuff. And she's got an injury as well, as Henry, points out, So, I gather Dee Dee was going to go to that location because it's a waterfall. Was this the waterfall she was looking for? So our bad guys have a backflash moment where they stumbled on a hiker with a beard, and we're all presuming, oh, it's that hiker. So they found him dead. So they wander into the cave, discover, more cocaine, what's left. So they retrieve it. Obviously, certain members want to leave, and Sid aims a rifle behind their back, and obviously, they're all getting emotional on this journey, and stand in front, and yeah, okay. So they venture more into the cave, discovering, Dee Dee and Henry and Mum, and there's another bag of cocaine up at above, and they try to retrieve that. Obviously, the baby bear cublets all over Sid because he's got the remaining bag of cocaine on him, and
You are no son of mine.
we were all waiting for it. Come on. The cocaine mama bear is coming on the scene. And yes, she does. It's a big showdown with the bear and Sid because everyone else gets the idea. Waterfall, pitch black. Let's jump off the waterfall. Doesn't mind there's rocks at the bottom and you might fall to your death. No, it's a movie, so we all know that people jump into water will survive, hopefully, and they do. So yeah, Henry, Dee Dee and Mum jump off first, and then the rest do. Sid done. Sid, takes out the bear with a handgun. And Mama Bear falls to her death. And there she is, leaving Sid to get the remaining drugs until a bag of cocaine falls off and sprinkles all over the place, bringing back the cocaine bear back to life. Maybe. Oh, I don't know. I don't know how bear works or cocaine, but I don't get this bit right. So I don't get this bit right. I don't, but it might be funny again. We know the bear's been shot. The bear climbs up the cliff, and if you pay attention, it spits out a CGI bullet out of its mouth. Maybe the cocaine helped it absorb the bullets out of it and it spat them out. Don't know the theory, but somehow, cocaine revived that bear. Bear takes on Sid because obviously he's been his mob about, getting the cocaine, it's dangling there, and he gets hung up on the bag. And he gets hung up on the bag, and obviously it's a bear, sharp claws, rips his stomach open, his intestines are coming out, and obviously it seems like Mama Bear's talking to her cubs to eat it a bit, but then she's encouraging her baby bears to eat him, and then she discards the body and by knocking him off onto the waterfall, and then you get a lovely moment of Mama Bear and her cubs and that, and we go down to the people down below at the bottom of the waterfall, and yes, obviously when Sid was shooting his gun, he accidentally shot one of his men, but he was leaving him and deserting him, but oh well. Anyhow, Dee Dee's mum's a nurse and she tends to his wound, and then you get a lovely moment. So we get bits where, that guessing game, he got the guessing game right, and they're all due to part where they go back to their vehicles. Somehow, she's got a bicycle for some reason. Now, Rosette, the dog, we've been seeing, gets saved, and goes stand solo, and obviously, takes the dog on, and it's like a lovely moment. All these rest of the survivors and stuff and all that lot, and so the movie might seem to be ending, but obviously we're going to get a few more bits coming on, but we finally get a shot of the bear and her cubs, and somebody's camcordering it, and they do that certain stare, and credits come up, and you'll get this in loving memory. So and then we get the credits, and obviously, but then it's like you get little bits in between showing you, it's still carrying on, and more comedy. So So the credits may be going up, but we do get this lovely scene where, you know, our young youth is hitching a lift, as you can gather, and he's got a bag on him. Obviously, we all know it's a bag of cocaine, and stupid enough, he puts it at the back of the pickup with sheep. But don't you worry, there ain't going to be a sequel with cocaine sheep, because he removes the bag. But there could be a sequel. The last bit is Rosette the dog.
What's it eating? What's it eating?
Yeah, you think it's a sweet moment, but it's left that the dog is it gets the last scene, because like Han Solo says, what is the dog eating? Then we discover the dog has a taste for human blood. Yes, it is eating the remaining fingers, and that's how the movie really ends. And maybe there'll be a sequel, but not the bear, but Rosette the dog.
Is it on cocaine? No.
But I think there's going to be works of, maybe there's going to be a cocaine bear, but it was based on a true story. Yeah. Andrew Thornton, you know, he's going to be well known for this. Well remembered for this. Well, that was Cocaine Bear. So, yeah, lots of credits and very fancy stuff, as you can see. So, yeah. But, yeah, that is practically the end of the movie and the review.